One morning, a boy picks out an attractive realtor to help him in his search of a new house. He's now become a manager at a local restaurant, so he's got a new opportunity for his second life. Their final stop is the last apartment on the block, rumored to have a ghost haunting the apartment. As the girl unlocks the door, a boy is seen lurking in the shadows, giving a smirk as maybe it's finally time. After correctly inputting the passcode, she swings open the door with no fear. Unfortunately, the boy has no clue about the rumors, nor will he expect what's about to happen to him and to the peachy realtor. At first glance, the boy says, "Wow." But in reality, he wasn't talking about the room. Rather, his eyes were instead fixated on the woman's twin dragons. "Whoa," he says in his head, as the realtor is busy thinking she's finally found something that the boy would want, since that means money, baby. He then starts to look at her exactly like I did about the Counter-Strike 2 announcement, so he starts getting more red than my thighs after falling asleep on the toilet. Regardless, she eagerly starts showing off all the features in the furnished apartment, still thinking she might actually have this in the bag. However, as she shows more and more features, our boy accidentally ends up checking some other features, and I am not talking about the apartment, if you know what I mean. This then goes on for an eternity, as time seemingly slows down due to him getting distracted by all the features he gets a good close-up on. But then, as she shows off the last amenity inside the house, the greatest disaster known to all men begins to strike. The disaster, you may ask? Well, we call it the random third leg uprising, and our boy is currently victim to the disaster. Upon noticing, she instantly turned back around flustered, but doesn't help as the cake she brought is still in plain sight. Our boy then begins to panic as she leaves the room to give him time to destroy all excitement within him. But every time we have that random disaster, it never seems to go away whenever you want to, so a mysterious ghost appears while he desperately attempts to quell the rebellion. Cold air then began to flood the room as if the ghost is actually like the biggest bro you have ever encountered. He then watches on as the ghost begins to peek behind the door. But luckily for the boy, hot air rises, but cold air makes you shrink. Suddenly, the ghost turned around, making the boy's rebellion quickly reach level 0 as he can't believe what the hell he's seeing. The boy doesn't dare make a single move, so the ghost started to inch closer and closer to him. So it finally dawned on the boy why the place was listed so cheap. Moments later, the boy's worst fears became reality as the ghost slowly whispered hello into his ear. It was at this moment his life began to flash before him as if it's game over, but the ghost just asks if he can see him. Of course, the boy refused to speak as he's stun-locked in disbelief, probably accidentally wetting the floor already. Eventually, after an entire ranked Valorant game, the boy finally moves as he decides to just act as if he can't see the ghost. However, his plan backfires on him as the ghost decided to do a sussy baka move, causing him to actually react, alerting the ghost that the boy can actually see him. As the ghost pulls his pants back up after the big brain move, the boy starts screaming for his mommy, just like the bald man with the last name that rhymes with fate. As the boy continues to panic and yell, the turntables begin to turn as the ghost tells him to simmer down since he isn't trying to take over his soul or anything like that. Confused, the boy calms down as he worriedly thought that ghosts hate humans that enter their realm or area, but this ghost is special since he reveals that he's interested in something else. The ghost continues by asking if he liked the girl inside, telling him that he can actually help him land her instead, acting as if he's some kind of love guru. And just like that, our wimp instantly forgot that just seconds before he was yelling for mommy. Now that the ghost has his attention, the ghost offers him his magical powers that will allow the boy win the girl over, right here, right now, in an empty house. With no hesitation, he agrees only on the condition that he doesn't take over his soul or body, then he would totally be down to receive his magical abilities. Although the ghost still didn't tell him what he wants in return, the boy was too eager for whatever magical powers the ghost could give him. So he blinked once and thought about it for 1 second, then said deal. After agreeing to the deal, the ghost told him to touch his hand, and if he does it, he will transfer his magical abilities to him temporarily. As such, the boy extended his hand, warning the ghost that if he did anything strange, he'll call in the Ghostbusters to get him busted. Nonetheless, the two finally shook their hands together. Upon contact with each other's hands, they begin to glow as the surrounding area also fills with light as the magical powers start to transfer from the ghost to the boy. After letting go, the boy is amazed at what he just witnessed, so he astonishingly looks at his hand, looking like as if he just held Jenna Ortega's hand. When all the light dissipated, he started waving his hand around, thinking he might now be a wizard, so maybe he could cast Fireball. But nothing happens, so the ghost slide in exactly like how I slide into people's messages, revealing to him that his powers only activate when he gets in contact with a girl's raw skin. Suddenly, the door opened, with no one near it to turn the knob. Behind the door is actually the realtor lady, where we discover that the room is actually a bathroom, with special toilets that wash the bum efficiently. So she walks out the room, still trying her hardest to sell the house. So she poses and is like, "Doesn't this place look amazing in person?" Since our boy is from the simp breed, he just agrees no matter what, just delighted that he could talk to someone as beautiful as her. However, he starts to stare at her since now he has a mission to complete to somehow find a way to get close so he can come in contact with her to activate his brand new powers. To test out his new abilities, he finally gets an idea to get close, so he decides now is the time to act on his new opportunity. He starts sweating harder than people try harding on Roblox front lines as he asks for her business card. Such a tall task for a simp like him, but no problem for her, as it's her job, so she quickly searches for it inside her bag. Afterwards, she finds it and hands it over to him, so he jumped on her hand, almost faster than people chasing a free pizza sign. Upon grabbing her hand with both hands, light begins to glow, tipping off the boy that his new magical abilities should now be activated. Out of nowhere, he gets startled as he notices something appear on top of her head. It turns out to be a loading screen, but the woman is still unfazed, as if his powers hasn't done anything to her yet. A second later, a random flash appeared on top of her head, where he gets notified of the screen, giving information about her, like her name, age, and interest in him. He then lets go after the ghost reappeared, joyfully asking if his power worked for him. As the girl looks on, the ghost welcomes him by saying this is one of his powers, but he calls this one specifically the scanning screen. Another notification then occurred on top of the realtor's head, telling the boy that his tutorial quest has started. It follows up with another pop-up alerting him that the quest difficulty is easy, and it reveals to him that she's been divorced lately. As such, the game-like system orders him to increase her interest and excitement level to max. However, the girl begins to look around uneasy as our boy has been staring behind her for too long, due to him looking at all the new pop-ups. To defuse the situation, he waves her off and tells her how she's just so fit, causing her to say, "Excuse me." As the simp transforms into a new person, the ghost watches on as if he's the biggest hype man ever, surprisingly being super direct with her works as she starts blushing from just him saying how he likes how fit the realtor is. Nevertheless, he gains the reward of additional tips and tricks from the system, due to him increasing her interest level to A from B. Another notification then appeared, basically giving him a guide on how to pick up the girl according to things she would fall for or like specifically. With the countdown appearing, he's quick to tell her to not move, as he says there's something on her ankle. He then went for contact with the ankle, as the guide followed up telling him to put her at ease by claiming that it's just dust. With just two simple tricks from the game guide, she begins to tremble, almost signaling to the boy that he's almost fully made it in. Like a jump scare, our hype man appeared behind him, telling him that he's almost at the finish line, so he gets the boy to stand up and look straight into her eyes. As he does so, he attempts to become an alpha male capable of actually holding the gaze from a girl, unlike some people who run away. As he holds eye contact, you can clearly see him sweating, but it's all about faking it till you make it, so she asks why he's looking at her like that. Unfortunately for the boy, this is the farthest he's ever gone with a girl, so he freezes, not knowing what to do after locking eyes with one. His new best friend then comes to the rescue as the ghost pushes him to fall over on her, so like a romantic movie with gender roles swapped, the boy begins to fall on top of her. The no-name realtor starts to blush even more as the system notification appears, alerting the boy that his target's interest and excitement is rapidly increasing, where it might even break over 9,000. Now stuck again, unsure on what to do, this time he gets saved by the game guide as it tells him the cheat to winning over Kang. As such, he whispers to Kang how she's so beautiful, causing her knees to waver due to his crazy game guide raise. Now that he's opened the gates to her heart, the ghost reminds him that her weak point is the neck, so he winks. Another pop-up then appeared as he attacks the weak point, telling him that Kang's excitement level has reached max. The ghost then watched on super enthused as if there's no such thing as ghost girls running around. With the boy completing all the quest assignments, rewards started to pour in, but he didn't care as he decides he needs to water his growing banana plantation instead of finding out his rewards right now. Anyway, sorry editor, it's time to tell the guys to use their imagination as we turn into Cultured Street. Oh and the ghost was watching the entire time, giving him tips as the divorced lady is too experienced at watering banana trees. Afterwards, Kang comes clean as she reveals to him that there's rumors of a ghost living here, so he agrees, saying it must be weird living with one. Now offended, the ghost tries to entice him to buy the apartment, offering his abilities every day if he lives here, and the only thing he wants is to be able to watch. The boy is then sussy weirded out at his request, but then again, he tells himself they got to score due to his abilities. The ghost then gets desperate due to him saying he doesn't believe in ghosts, but the ghost points at the cake, telling him to think about it. However, the boy starts ignoring him, as his brain gets clouded by the banana tree growing, so he asks Kang for a second round. In the end, the boy agrees to choose to live with him since he thinks a ghost watching him isn't that bad since the girls can see the ghost.